Hey, you guys. Hey, everyone. What is it? Wednesday already? I was going to say happy Monday, but it is not Monday. It is Wednesday. And I'm sorry that I'm late for the Sister Wives recap. It's been a very busy week. I had a lot going on, doctor's appointments, baseball games 2 days in a row. So it really, basketball games at like 3 o'clock. So there's been a lot going on, which pushed me back on the recap. But we're here. We're going to do the recap. This episode was a pretty interesting episode. I mean, we saw Christine purchase her, home with David. We saw Ysabel voice her concerns over David kind of like taking Kody's place. And I see a lot of people, I'm in some sister wives groups, some sister wives like fan pages, and like somebody shared a post basically saying that Ysabel needs to grow up. Like if David takes the place of your dad, that's your fault or your dad's fault. Like it's on you to try to have a relationship with your dad as well. And I really just felt like I think that person is misunderstanding kind of what Ysabel's concern was. But we're gonna go over that. I have the video of we're gonna actually watch a clip of where Ysabel, with tears in her eyes, basically voices her worries that David coming into their life will somehow affect her having a relationship with her dad, Kody. So we have that happened this episode. Christine and David buying a house, Isabel struggling with that and how that was going to affect her relationship with her dad. We have Meri, for some reason, having to go to Kody and Robyn and tell them again that she's moving. And for some reason, Kody acting like he actually cares. It is wild because for years, like Meri said, for years, he has literally pushed me away. He has literally done everything, possible to try to get rid of me. And now that I'm leaving, he's acting like he cares all of a sudden. Like, in my opinion, it's total manipulation. It's just like manipulation is what he's doing to her. So we're going to go ahead and get into the recap really quickly. My lighting, I don't know why I feel like I look so dark, but we're going to go ahead and we're going to get into it, you guys. So let me make this a little bit bigger. All right. I hope everybody had a great weekend. Okay, so previously on Sister Wives, Christine and David met with a realtor. They were looking at houses because, they were going to be going to Gwendolyn's bridal shower and they wanted to possibly have a home picked out before they left, but they didn't find anything. They had a few like requirements of the house, 3-car garage. They wanted it to be big enough so like their family, the kids could come and stay at times, and they wanted the kitchen to have I think it was 2 stoves, double stoves. So they looked a little bit before they left to go to Gwendolyn's bridal shower, but they didn't find anything that had all the amenities that they wanted. So when they got back from Flagstaff from Gwendolyn's bridal shower, they continued looking and they found the house of their dreams. Okay, so also previously, Janelle paid a visit to Meri to warn Meri that the deadline for the property payment was coming up. And she was basically just letting her know, like, hey, you need to watch out for yourself because I'm worried that, like, we could all kind of get screwed. And you can get screwed the most because you have the least portion of the property or whatever, and I feel like they might really do you dirty. Now, Meri really didn't listen to her. Meri was really like, I'm not worried. Also, previously, Gwen and her fiance, Bia, I think that's how you're saying it, Bia, they had their engagement party, bridal party, whatever you want to call it. I think it was an engagement party, I think. While at the party, Christine introduced David to Kody and Robyn. It was a little weird. It was a little strange. I saw people in the Facebook group that I'm in, the Sister Wives Facebook group, saying that they thought Christine was purposely like laying her head on David to make Kody mad. But I don't think she was doing it to make Kody mad necessarily, because if you watch Christine when they're in front of the realtor, she's all kissy, lovey, huggy with David. in front of her kids. She's like that with David. I think she is just like, I like this man. If I want to lay my head on him, if I want to kiss him, if I want to slap him on the butt, whatever I feel like I want to do, it doesn't matter who's around. I'm going to do it. And I don't care who's around. So I think that's kind of her attitude. I don't know if I think that she did that to like bother Kody. I think she was like, it doesn't matter who's around. I'm going to be this way with him. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong. All right. So now to this episode. It is episode 10, titled A Man After My Own Heart. That kind of confused me, the title. Sometimes I wonder, where did they get these titles from? A Man After My Own Heart. Was that said in the episode? I don't know. Either way, y'all, we start out Salt Lake at Mykelti and Tony's house. David and Christine are going to babysit the kids while Mykelti and Tony are going to go out on a date. They have the twins. The twins are just a few months old. They have Avalon. So Christine and David show up to babysit. Now, in a confessional, Christine tells us, she was like, well, Mykelti called and asked me if I would babysit for them to go out. And I was like, so can David come along with me? And Mykelti jokingly said, well, actually, I was hoping David would come babysit and you would just tag along. You know, this just kind of goes to show, in my opinion, how much Mykelti and Tony already like David. Right, Sissy girl, I agree. Like I think she did it just because she's in love and she's just like going to be herself and she doesn't care who's around. I think I'm gonna show that, Shannon, the merch that I made is super funny. So, I think Christine talking about Mykelti saying that, like, oh, well, actually, I was hoping David would come babysit and you would just tag along with him. I really think it's just showing how much Mykelti and Tony like David, how much they've already welcomed him into the family. Christine obviously loves that, loves to see that her kids, at least Mykelti, is being so like open to David. And recently, Mykelti and Tony made a post with the kids. Yeah, I think the twins, where like Christine and David like brought them a gift, and it said from Oma and Papa or whatever, and they were talking about Christine and David. So it seems like, Mykelti calls David like Papa or whatever in regards to her kids. I saw some comments. Some people didn't like it. Some people thought it was too soon. I saw some people saying that was really irresponsible of Mykelti to let David babysit her twins so soon into the relationship. And I will say, I think Mykelti is a little bit more responsible than somebody like Janelle Evans, but I don't think I would have done that. I don't think, if my mom was dating a new man and I just had twins and I got like a 2-3-year-old, and my mama's new man is like, if y'all want to go get y'all's toes done, I'll keep the kids. I'm going to be like, no, I'm not. We can bring the kids with us and you can come. But it probably wasn't his idea. It may have been their idea, but I would not have come up with the idea to leave my kids home alone with this man that my mom only been dating for 3 months for us to go get our nails done or our toes done or whatever. Thank you so much, Holly. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate that super sticker so much. Thank you. I am okay, Colby. Just had some doctor's appointments. We had 2 basketball games in a row. We had one Monday, one Tuesday. One was like 35, 40 minutes away from here. So it's just a lot that was going on and I didn't get to go live. I'm sorry. But everything's fine. So I do think it was a little irresponsible. I do think it was irresponsible, honestly. That is just my honest to God opinion. They talk about how Christine has only been with him for like 2-3 months. Mykelti did not meet him the second Christine started dating him. So Mykelti knows him 2.5 months, 2 months, and she left her newborn twins and her daughter alone with him for them to go get her nails done. It's nothing I would have done. Nothing I would have done. I know way too many people, myself. I don't even think I know anybody that wasn't sexually assaulted or as a child by neighbor or family member. So no way, Jose. And I like David. I do like David. I like him. I think he makes Christine happy. I think they're a cute couple. So I'm not putting that on him. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I would not have done that. I didn't really care for it. Let's continue. Sarah said, "Hey, sorry, I've said it before. I'm just not a Christine fan. She's too full of herself, bragging, rushing, shoving in people's face. Selfish to her kids' thoughts, feelings, saying too bad to everything. No fan." I get it. I mean, some people are not a fan of her. I like her. I like Christine. There's things that she's done that I don't particularly agree with. I do think it was fast, but she's 50 years old too. She's been in a loveless relationship. She's been in this relationship for 25 years, and the past like 5, 6, 7 years, whatever, was completely loveless, no intimacy. So at 50 years old, I would have to imagine she knows what she wants. She went for it the second that I mean, I've read so many stories about like, oh, my grandparents met and married a week later, and they were together 50 years and died a week apart. Like I see things like that, and maybe they are each other's soulmates, and maybe it will be that kind of thing for them. They get married, they live the next 25 years together, and they pass away right after each other, or hand in hand in the nursing home. I don't know. She's like a giddy schoolgirl that's in her first like relationship with her soul. Like, I do think it's like they feel like they're like soulmates. They're all about each other. They love each other. So that's what I see when I look at them, like two people that like are just like giddy, happy, love each other. Maybe they're soulmates, and maybe that's why they feel so strong. And she's like, I'm gonna. It was weird to me for her to be like, it makes the kids uncomfortable to see us kiss, but we're gonna kiss anyway. Then they're just gonna have to get used to it. I feel like if I was coming out of a relationship with my kid's father and I got into another one quickly, I probably wouldn't show much PDA outside of maybe holding hands, sitting next to them, holding hands. But if my children express, "Mom, this is a little much. I'm only used to seeing you with Dad. Y'all weren't affectionate, and seeing you like hold hands with this new man, it makes me feel a little awkward." Then I would refrain from doing that. I would refrain from doing that in their presence. At my house, in the comfort of my home, when they're not there, I would do it, but I would try to be respectful of their opinions, of their feelings, not even their opinions. I would be respectful of their feelings. They can't help how they feel. So I do think that's kind of a little like, I do think that it's just a little wild for Christine to be like, well, they're just gonna have to deal with it. But yeah, they got married. They're still married. And I think at this point, everybody's comfortable at this point. We're watching last year, you know, um, we're watching something that took place last year, you know? But I get it. I understand. Christine is not everybody's cup of tea. I read several comments of people that do not like her. So I get it. And I think for anybody that if you're not a fan of Christine, I think this makes it worse. All the comments that I read on the Sister Wives fan pages were people, they're like, I like her, but I don't really like this. And then the people's like, no, I'm not a fan of her. And this really irritates me. It seems people that don't like her, this just kind of is like the icing on the cake. They're like, oh my gosh, she's being so ridiculous. She doesn't care about her kids and how they feel. So I get it. I get it. Normally, I'm a fan of Christine. I don't agree with everything that she does, though. And I do think that was a little wild that she, like, oh, the kid's going to have to get over it. Like, girl, give them time. Just because you move so quickly, it doesn't mean that they're going to, I get it. All right. So, David and Christine are at Mykelti and Tony's house to babysit. Mykelti and Tony leave. David and Christine are sitting on the floor with the kids, and David made a comment. He was like, so they actually cleaned their house. I was like, oh. He was like, yeah, I can't believe they actually cleaned their house. They actually cleaned their house. I was like, no, he did not. Christine seemed like kind of shocked at the comment. She was even like, I can't believe you just said that. And it made me wonder, they don't clean their house? Normally, like, we've, Janie said, my parents' story, they only knew each other for 7 days, got married, and died 5 months apart. Oh, wow. Yeah, I've read a lot of stories like that. And I probably have people in my family that did the same thing, But yeah, David and Christine, they get the kids, they go in the house. Mykelti and Tony leave. They sit on the floor. They're playing with the kids. David looks around. He's like, wow, they actually cleaned their house this time. And Christine's like, oh my God, I can't believe you said that. And I'm like, oh my goodness. That is hilarious because the times that they filmed there, it doesn't look like it's dirty, but we really don't see a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like, we really don't see a lot. Um, I remember like Teen Mom, Leah Messer, a producer came out on Reddit, supposedly a producer came on Reddit saying like that during the time that she was suffering through addiction, that her house was like not the cleanest. The dogs would be all over the carpet, that she just didn't clean it. And I remember thinking back, like, well, I never really remember when they filmed thinking like, oh, her house is a mess. But really, like, I don't think you could really tell unless it's like really bad. But I thought that was funny that he said that. And it seemed like it was just like a slip of the like, oh wow, they clean. That's great. And then Christine was like, oh, I can't believe you said that. All right. We hop over to Parowan where Blair and Jen, they're helping Meri paint a room in the B&B. Now that Meri is moving back to Parowan, she's going to be living in the B&B. She wants to spruce it up a little bit. So they discussed, what they're going to do with this room. They're going to paint the room. Now, in this particular screenshot, Jen's like, well, we got to tape it off. Like, we got to tape down by the baseboards. And Blair's like, why are we taping it off? Like, is she keeping this carpet? Like, she's going to keep the carpet? And Meri or Jen, they talk about like her painting the carpet. Jen's like, you didn't want to paint the carpet? And Meri's like, oh, I did say I might paint the carpet. And Blair's like, paint the carpet? Like, girl, you cannot paint the carpet. Like, that's ridiculous. So yeah, Blair was a little shocked when Meri discussed maybe painting the floor rather than getting rid of the carpet. Thank goodness that Meri has Blair because I think Blair is like an interior designer. I think that's what he does. He did the carriage house and it looked great. So thank God he is there to kind of like, I don't know. I've never heard of anybody painting the carpet. I've never heard of anybody painting carpet. Okay, so at one point when they're there, Meri is like kind of telling them what her plans are with the room. She's like, so all of this will be the closet. So the majority of the room, she basically tells them the majority of the room is going to be my closet. And the small portion over there in the corner, I'm just going to put a bed there, which is not a big portion at all. It's over there where Blair is. And Blair looks back and he says, well, it'll be pretty cozy. And it's not like you're going to be sharing a bed with anyone. So I guess it'll work, which was pretty funny. We then see Meri in a confessional where she talks about how she lived a single life for 10 plus years. And she doesn't remember a time where like she was traveling and someone cared enough about her that they were concerned if she made it to her destination. She says it's been a long time since someone checked in on her or text her asking like, hey, did you make it home safely? She says it's really sad for her, but she looks forward to the time when she flies somewhere and someone checks in and says, hey, are you okay? Did you get there all right? She says it's going to be weird to have that, but she does look forward to it. And that is really sad. Like, that's pretty sad. We jump back over to Mykelti and Tony's house where Christine is talking to David about what it's like staying home and raising babies because, they're there with the twins and with, Avalon. So they got three little babies there, 3 under 2, I think because Avalon's like 2. So 3 under 2.5. I'm good, Gail. Just doctor's appointments and basketball games. I tried to get some work done, but it was just impossible to go live because everything that was going on yesterday and the day before. But I'm good. I'm good. So yeah, they're there with these 3 babies, and she's like, this kind of reminds me of when I was younger and taking care of all the babies. She said that Gwendolyn and Gabriel were just 4 days apart, so it was like they were twins. She was like, back when I stayed home with the kids and we had the older kids were just babies at the time. And then Gwendolyn and Gabriel were 4 days apart. She said, it was tough. She said it was like I had twins and then I had other kids there. She said it was, she said she loved it. She said it was a lot of fun. She had a routine with all the kids, but it was very hard. Thank you, Cheryl. Thank you so much. Meri and Christine both weighed in on like Christine taking care of the kids and like Gabriel and Gwendolyn being 4 days apart. In Janelle's confessional, she talked about how much responsibility Christine had when it came to the kids. Uh, she said, she had Gwendolyn and Gabe, and they were like twins, but she also had like Logan and Aspen, and like some of the other kids that had already been born and were a little bit older. So she said, she didn't just have the two babies, she had other kids there as well that weren't old enough for school. And they actually homeschooled the first few years too. So she was like, Christine, like she was like, I wouldn't know what to do without Christine because I went back to work. And then Christine dealt with the kids. And then Meri talks about it. And Meri talks about how Janelle and Christine were both down at the same time, having the babies and recovering. So she talks about how weird it was and how strange it was for her to take off work back then. She said, I was in a polygamous marriage, but we were not out yet to the world or to my boss. Like my boss did not know that I had sister wives. So she said it was weird trying to ask for time off because they were still like in hiding with their situation. And she said she just remembers being like, hey, so I'm going to need some time off, but I don't know exactly when that's going to be yet. Like, I don't know exactly the time I'm going to need off, but I do know I'll need like some time off around this time. She said because when Christine and Janelle had the babies, she had to take off work to, take care of the kids and then to be there as they recovered. She said her bosses probably thought she was crazy because of how vague she was when she was requesting the time off, not really knowing what date she would need. But she said, they probably thought we were crazy or she was crazy. We then jump over to Christine, who tells us that she and David found their perfect house. Robyn had a baby born a year after. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, she tells us that they found their perfect house and they bought it. She said the home is perfect. It's just 15 minutes from Mykelti and Tony, and then 15 minutes from David's daughter's house. It's big. It's got the amenities that they wanted. She said it's perfect, so that's why they bought it. And here is a picture of it here. It looks like it's got like a 3-car garage. There's David's truck in front. Yeah, it's a nice home. It's a big house. Now back at Mykelti's, Christine tells David she can't wait to fix up the backyard, to get their backyard done. And David tells her, he's like, oh, I've already started looking at hot tubs and things for the kids. Like I've already got the layout ready. I've already got the layout figured out in my head of like what we can do with the backyard. Christine is shocked that David has already like thought about all of this. And in a confessional, she says that David does not do anything halfway. She says, if I tell David I want something, he gets it done. He starts immediately. Then she talks about how she had all these ideas for her house in Flagstaff, how, she wanted to put things back there, things for the kids. And she would talk to Kody about, wanting to get these things done. And he would say, okay, let him think about it. And then he would never come back to her. He would never, she said she never got to do what she envisioned with that backyard. And that was a big backyard. Like, oh my goodness, if I had that backyard and maybe access the kind of money that they had with kids, I mean, I probably would have. I mean, a trampoline's nice. My kids love their trampoline, which it actually broke recently. My mom got them that trampoline like 3 years for Christmas, and it actually broke like 2 months or so ago. But that's a big backyard, and I don't know. I feel like I probably would have had one of those underground trampolines, or not underground, but it's like level with the ground. Maybe like some monkey bars back there. But yeah, she said she had things envisioned for the backyard that she would talk to Kody, but he never would come back with her to say, okay, yeah, let's do this. She says that David is so much different. She says that she tells David something once and he gets it done for her. We hop over back to the bed and breakfast. Jen and Meri and Blair, they are painting. And they're having this discussion about Meri moving earlier than she had initially planned and how she hasn't told Kody yet. Jen asked her, like, have you told Kody that you're going to move, sooner than you had thought? And she says she hasn't told Kody, but she also feels like she don't really owe him an explanation. And I'm like, exactly. That's the Meri that I like. You don't owe him an explanation. And I really do feel like the only reason Meri went back and had the conversation is because she needed his help and because probably production told her to. I feel like production they set up these meetings, like, oh, we'll go talk to them about this. Go talk to them about that. You know what I'm saying? Um, yeah, Meri talked about how Kody gave her false hope. She tells Jen and Blair that when they moved to Flagstaff, that Kody had told her that it was going to be a new beginning for them. She told them that their first anniversary in Flagstaff, Kody toasted to a new chapter for them. So she said she felt like, they had a chance. Like she always thought that he was going to be working on it, or they were going to be working on it. And she said that's kind of why she stayed there waiting. She said there were times where Kody would call her and vent to her about things, which made her feel like she was someone that Kody felt like he could come and talk to. But then he would go weeks without calling, months without coming by to see her. She said that was why she had such a hard time leaving, because for so long, he would give her a little bit of hope and then go a long time without talking to her. She would get the feeling like, okay, I guess this marriage is done. And then he would pop back in. Now, Kody in a confessional, he says he really did try to give his marriage to Meri a shot. He said even after the catfishing incident, he was able to forgive her. But he said he just could not engage with her as a married couple anymore. He said there just wasn't a fertile bed for love to even grow. That's because your bed with Robyn was fertilized and it was, growing over there, and you weren't even watering the one with Meri. That's why. He said they were not like a dating couple. He said for 8 years, they were like a separated couple on the brink of divorce. He talked about when they would travel. He was like, we didn't even sleep in the same bed. We would get rooms with different beds. And I'm like, that's weird. I don't know. I just feel like there is not a world that I could exist in that I could travel with my husband, Sean. Say we split up. If we're traveling, he's going to be trying to stay in my bedroom. Guarantee you. He's not even going to be trying to stay in my bedroom. He's going to be trying to get in my bed. I know this. Like, if me and Sean were to ever split up, if we're going to be around each other in a setting, so I couldn't imagine, like, living a polygamous lifestyle, still being the wife, but just not acting that way. I think we might not act that way in any other way, but guarantee that's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think as a human, like, how, I guess because Kody was getting it from Robyn, but Meri, like, you're a woman, like, you got needs. That was your husband, like, probably the only man you ever been with, like, actually physically been with. Well, yeah, because while you didn't get with the catfishing person, that was not a man, that was a woman. But this is probably the only person that Meri had been with. So I feel like no matter what, if we were not together, that would probably still be one thing we would do. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Oh, thank you, Colby. Yeah, Jenny, exactly. It's fun doing it in strange places with strange people. I'm just kidding. I mean, Kody would be like a strange person to her because he never came around. But I just couldn't imagine. Like, I just could, like, yeah, like, even on nights like where you cuddle up. Like, I'm like, this is wild that she was your, still in the family. Maybe y'all lived like a separate couple, but y'all weren't. She still tried to participate like she was a wife. I guess because he was getting it from Robyn, he didn't even try to get it from Meri. But I'm surprised Meri didn't try to get it from him. Like, I'm surprised Meri, like, trying to be in the kitchen when I walk in there and I walk in there, I like slap him on the butt, grab his butt, like we're that type of people. Like, not in front of our kids, but like if our kids are not around, like, I'm getting me a handful of his butt cheek. Like, I couldn't imagine trying to Anyways, I'm spending too much time on this, but that's just wild. They did not. They stayed in separate hotels. Like, dang. Oh, yeah, that's right. She said she did, and he rejected her. That she tried to kiss him, and he rejected her. Oh, I'd be so mad. I'd be so mad. That's gonna be bad. If somebody you were married to for 20 years, like, try to kiss you and you reject them, I'd be so mad. All right, back to the B&B. I hope Meri got some from Amos or whatever his name, Amos. Meri dated Amos or whatever his name was. I hope he blew her back out. Oh, just because, like, I feel like Meri deserves it. You know what I'm saying? She went so long dealing with Kody's BS, and then he rejected her. Oh my goodness. I hope she got some from Amos or whatever his name was. Anyways, okay. Back at the B&B, Meri told Blair and Jen how over the years she never gave up and that Kody knew that she was always still hanging on. She said she would ask, like, what's it going to take for us to work on our marriage? Like, what do I need to do? She said Kody gave her a list of things that she needed to do in order for him to want to make the marriage work. I can't believe I said that. Yeah, she said, he gave me a list of things to do. Meri said once she completed the list, Kody was done. Meri said she recognizes it now that there was nothing else he could have asked her to do. There's no other excuse he could have had because she had done everything. She had done everything. The paint roller, I miss the paint roller. Somebody said the paint roller's small, but I missed the paint roller. I know, Janie. I couldn't imagine going that long without my husband touching me either. Like, we're always like, if he comes in here, like, and I get up to like do something, he's gonna slap me on the butt. Like, he might shark fin me. You guys know what shark fin is? Shark fin is when you run like your hand up the crack of your like somebody's butt and you go shark fin. We do that to each other. We shark fin each other. We're gonna like, yeah, I couldn't even imagine. That's sad for Meri. But yeah, like I said, I hope that they do. I hope Meri gets some bomb sausage. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, she said, she asked Kody, like, what do we need to do? He gave her this list. I need you to do this, 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 and this, and this. She said she did it, and then he was done. She said it was because he couldn't ask her for anything else because she had did everything that he asked her to do. Blair told Meri, he goes, it sounds to me like Kody was leading you on. Like letting you think that y'all were going to be together if you just did X, Y, and Z. He said, he could have told you years ago that he was done. He could have sent you a text message. He could have emailed you. Just be like, girl, I'm done. Don't worry about doing anything. My sister calls that a visa in the butt crack. We call it shark fin. I don't know where we got that from, but that makes sense too, a visa, I know. I wonder what was on the list too. I hope Meri writes a tell-all book and she tells us what was on the list. But you love Shauna vice versa, but Kody doesn't fancy Meri anymore. That's true. That's true. I guess that's why, that makes a lot of sense because there's no way in hell that I would, my older kid's dad. And that's probably how Kody looks at Meri, like the way that I look at my two older kids' dad, like, I wouldn't touch you with a 10-foot pole. All right, so yeah, Blair's like, dude, Kody led you on. He could have told you years ago that he was done. He could have sent you a text. He could have sent you an email. He could have told you. Then Jen then asked Meri, like, are you down to date? Like, if the mailman shows up at my house, like, can I send him your way? Like, what are you looking for in a man? If I run into a man that I think is cute, like, should I tell him I have a friend that's looking? And Meri literally says, she's like, I don't know if I'm ready to date since, I've only been single for about a month. Girlfriend. She literally said she doesn't think she's ready to date yet since she's only been single for about a month. Jen is like, girl, you've been single for like 10 years. Not no dag a month. What are you talking about? And Mary's like, true. I guess that's how you look at it. I guess I have been single for 10 years. I'm like, what is that really what Meri thinks? Like, oh, I've only been single for about a month. Like, girl, no, you have been single for a decade. What the heck? All right. We jump back over to Utah. Christine brings Isabel over to see the new house. Isabel loves it. She walks around it. She talks about how big and beautiful it is. She's like, oh my God, goodness, look at these big windows. Look at the closet. Look at your kitchen. Look at the fireplace. I love it. It looks so gorgeous. She loves it. At one point, though, when they were walking in the house, Isabel and Christine, they stop and they start talking. And Isabel tells Christine that she likes David. She's happy for her mom, but it's all just weird, at how fast they're going and the changes. Um, she's like, and Christine asks her, like, what's your like concerns? And she's like, it's just weird, and she's like, well, do you like David? And she's like, no, I like David. I really like David. It's not that. It's just so fast. And it's a lot of changes in a short amount of time. Um, and Christine's like, I know. And then um they bring up Christine living with a man full time. And Christine says that David had kind of picked up on the fact that, she was seeming kind of off. And that he asked her, like, hey, what's wrong? You seem off. And she's like, no, I'm fine. And he was like, no, you seem off. Are you okay? And she was like, well, I'm a little nervous. I've never lived with a man full time. It's a lot to digest. It's a lot to think about. Like, it's just going to be different. I've never lived with a man full time. And now, she's about to. Christine, next picture. Christine tells us in a confessional that Kody was only around at her house every 3 to 4 days. He would come in the evenings, eat dinner, spend a little time with her and the kids, go to bed, and leave the next morning. She said so she did not see him a lot. So this will be a big change for her. She's like, but it's what people do. So I'm excited for it. I'm excited to live a normal, monogamous lifestyle with David. We then jump over to Meri. She's in a confessional, and she tells us that since she is moving before she originally planned, she is going to go over to Kody and Robyn's house to tell them that she's moving before her lease is up. She says in a confessional, she says in this confessional that she doubts Kody even cares and questions why she would even tell them to begin with. She's like, honestly, he probably don't care. I really don't know why I'm telling him. But you know what? It's a nice thing to do. It's a nice thing to let them know. So I'm going to be nice and tell them. Meri said the saddest part about leaving is the kids. She said because she's been close to the kids. Her and Robyn's kids are all super close. She accepted them. Her and Solomon have this close bond. She said the kids love her. She said she loves them. She said despite how close they are, she said, to be honest, in the past couple of years, I haven't even seen the kids much. She said when she would text Robyn and ask Robyn about getting together to do something with the kids, it would never happen. She was like, I would text her, asked if we could get together to do something with the kids, and it never happened, and I don't know why. Which kind of tells you something there that, like, this is Robyn shutting now the only other family member that she had left, which was Meri, and Meri has this close relationship with the kids. And rather than like fostering that and because because Robyn wants so bad this relationship, rather than, seeing to that, she would ignore the messages or wouldn't even try to set up things to do with them. So I think that goes to show that once again, Robyn is not what she says she is. She's not this person that's trying to make sure that her kids get to see their other mom or whatever the case, whatever they want to say. I'm glad that Meri said that too. Like, you know what? Honestly, like I've tried to see the kids. I'll text her and she don't respond. So I don't know. All right. What number is this down here? The little red number. I can't see it. Is that 40? That can't be 40. Oh yeah, it is. Okay. All right. And the next part, she sits down with Kody and Robyn. And Robyn decides that she needs to protect her kids from getting upset. So she don't want them to hear that Meri's going to be moving. So she sends Ari out of the room. Once Ari gets out of the room, Meri tells them that she will be moving before her lease is up. She's like, I know I have planned on moving after my lease is up, but I've decided I'm going to go before. Kody's like, why so soon? Why are you doing it earlier than you expected? Like, why? In a confessional, Meri says the last 10 years, Kody has done everything to push her away. And now that she's leaving, he wants to be like, why are you doing this so early? Why are you doing this so soon? And Meri says, why do you care? Isn't this what you wanted? And I'm like, yes, it is. He's pretending to care to be manipulative. So it seems like he cares when he doesn't. Kody says in a confessional, he's like, you know what? To be honest, this will be good for Meri. I'm glad Meri's moving. He then says he would never tell Meri what he really thinks anymore because it's not safe. What is she going to do? Kill you? Like, I'm so confused how they use these trigger words like, oh, not safe. She's not beating y'all. Like, do it. And if she does, the best time to be honest is on television where she can't beat you up. I doubt she's beating you up, but so weird. That is Robyn's like shtick. Like, that's Robyn's thing. You didn't hear the family exactly triple threat. Kody's not safe. But when it was just Kody, Christine, Meri, and Janelle, and he was courting Robyn in the beginning, you never heard the wives talk about, oh, that person's not safe. That person's not safe. Oh, they're not safe. But Robyn started that. Like, oh, well, they're not safe. With the kids, oh, well, my kids can't be around their siblings because it's not safe. Girl, nobody's out here beating anybody up. Like, calm down. And let your kids choose, honestly, especially if you're older kids. I feel like she's probably brainwashed her older kids to believe their siblings don't even like them. Yeah, don't even know what it means to be safe. I know, right? All right, so yeah, Kody's like, it's good for Meri. I'm not going to tell Meri that I think that because it's just not safe, to be honest with Meri. Now, back at the house, Meri asked Kody, she's like, so I have a favor that I need from you. Do you think you could help me pack, help me load the truck, and then drive the truck to the B&B for me? Because I don't have anybody that can help me do it. And she said, we could just say this is my severance package. And everybody seemed to get a kick out of it, except maybe Kody. It confused him. She's like, it could be my severance package. Meri and Robyn laughed, and Kody's like, on what? Our marriage? Like, duh. And then in a confessional, Meri tells us, she's like, you know what? I failed to ask for alimony during the legal divorce, so I'm out that. But I did put 30 years into this marriage. So the least that he could do is help me pack and get the heck out of here. And I'm like, I agree. Now, back at the house, Robyn asks Meri how she's feeling about the move. And Meri tells her that she's feeling good. She goes, I'm feeling good. I'm ready to get out there and be in control of my limbo land. She says she's ready to get out there and be in control of her limbo land. Kody responds by saying, moments of any kind of movement feel better than being stagnant or waiting. And I don't know if that's exactly what he said because I have a typo in there that's really throwing me off. But Kody said something along the lines of like, oh, well, you're in limbo land, but if you're not waiting on me or you're not being stagnant, if you're getting to do anything, like it's better than just waiting. But she was waiting. That's the thing is Meri has been waiting for how many years? 10 years. And you gave her a list of things to do, leading her to believe that, y'all could work on the marriage. So yeah, you know what? Any kind of movement is better than waiting, but Meri's been waiting for 10 years. So that's horrible. I'm glad that you acknowledge that anything is better than waiting or being stagnant because that's exactly what you had her do. You had her wait for 10 years. Then in a confessional, Meri talks about how Kody did not have the integrity or the courage to tell her that he no longer wanted to be married to her. She said that Kody did everything he could to drive her away. So when she left, he could raise his hands and say, "See, I didn't do anything. She's the one that left," which is the same thing that he did with Christine, the same thing that he did with Janelle. Like Kody never wants to be the one to say, "I'm divorcing you. I want a divorce," because then it looks bad on him. And these women, I think we've heard Janelle, Christine, and Meri all say at this point that he had no, I think Christine called him a coward. I think Janelle said something along the lines of courage. And now Meri says integrity or courage. They've all called him out for like not having the balls to tell them, like, "Hey, I don't want to be with you." Instead, he just treats them in a way to where they don't want to be with him. That way they can leave and he'll say, "They're the one that left." Now we jump back over to Christine's new house. They're standing in front of this big window in, I think, the living room. And Ysabel asked Christine if she's sure about this, if she's sure about David, if she's sure about moving in, is she sure about buying a home? And Christine says yes. And Ysabel says, "If you weren't completely sure, you wouldn't do this, right?" And Christine told her that if she wasn't absolutely certain about David, then she would not be moving this fast. She tells her, she says, if I wasn't absolutely certain, I would not do this. Like, I'm so for sure. And then Ysabel tears up and says to Christine, or asks Christine, he won't try to replace Dad, right? And Christine tells Ysabel that David would never replace Kody, that he will only be there for her as a stepdad or whatever she needs him to be. But David's role is not to come in and replace Kody. I'm gonna have to make this a little bit smaller because I'm scared I'm gonna get copyrighted. But here is that clip. I do that on purpose, Joni. Actually, when I try to get pictures of the girls for my video, I try to get better pictures. But when it comes to pictures of Kody, I actually enjoy getting like the crazy looking photos of Kody. All right, so in this clip, we're gonna watch Ysabel have this conversation with her mom of being concerned that David coming into the mix is going to somehow affect her relationship with her dad. And she also says, like, David is a great dad with his kids. How great would that be for me to have that kind of relationship with my dad? And that is really sad. I hope Kody watched it. Let's go ahead. Let's watch it.
He won't try to replace Dad, right? For us.
Because no one's going to replace your dad.
Right.
No.
Oh, and sorry, I did have to make some little changes to it to try to get past copyright. So yeah, you guys are going to see like some movement in it. It's just editing to avoid copyright. So she said, no one's going to try to replace Dad, right? He's not going to try to replace Dad. And Christine said, no one's going to try to replace your dad.
No one. Ugh. If you need a dad figure or a father figure or someone like that, he'll be whatever you need.
I worry that my dad and the chance of having like a really close relationship with my dad is like slowly going away.
She wants a dad. Big time. But she wants her dad.
He'd be a great stepdad.
I agree.
Yeah?
Yeah, but he can't replace Dad. He's not trying to, right?
Never.
So I'm worried that my relationship with my father will be desolate, will like not exist anymore. Because David will actually, I like don't mean to like say that he would be that kind of person, because he would only ever come into any situation with like everybody else in mind and only with respect of everybody else as well.
I've always wanted you guys to have a great relationship with your dad.
Yeah.
And I really do hope that Kody has watched this. Kody always talks about how Janelle and Christine like brainwashed the kids to not like him, to paint him as the monster. But I've never seen that. I've never seen Janelle. Have they sat and listened to the kids complain? Sure. But the kids have witnessed these things. The kids have witnessed how Kody treated their mom, how Kody treated them versus Robyn's kids. So, of course, they're going to have an opinion on that. And they should be able to talk to their mom about their opinions on what they see their dad, doing to them and to her. But I've never seen the wives. I've never seen Christine and Janelle not encourage them. They've always tried to encourage them to give their dad a chance and to have a relationship with their dad.
A great one. So David coming in, all that does is someone else to love, but replacing dad, no.
David, like, he comes off as like a very like present dad, like with his children. So I mean, how lovely would that be, right? So I would love to have a relationship that is as amazing with my own father.
That is horribly sad, and I hope Kody watched that. I hope Kody, and I say I hope Kody watched that, because I think, well, if he watched that, maybe that would encourage him to step up and do more. But we also saw where Gabriel was on there a couple seasons back, crying about his dad calling him on his birthday, but not remembering that it was his birthday, and that didn't improve. Kody, Gabriel being on the show, Kody having the opportunity to watch that and witness how he hurt his child, did not encourage Kody to do better. It did not encourage Kody to seek Gabriel out, apologize, and try to do better with him. Because we know that when Garrison passed away, they still didn't. Garrison didn't have a relationship with Kody, and Gabriel's was very limited. It wasn't much to it. If I saw my child on a TV show, if we were on TV and I was having problems with my child and I seen them in a confessional breaking down about how scared they are that they're going to lose their relationship with me, I would pick up that phone right then and say, I'm not going anywhere. Like, I'm here anytime you need me. Let's go to lunch. Come over. I'll come over there. Like, let's squash this, because that's your children. And as time passes by, you can't get that time back, Yeah, it was strained. Exactly. Thank you. It was strained. So very sad watching Isabel talk about that. And I really think she was just like seeing how good of a dad David is, and it made her recognize even more how Kody is not, you know? I think that's also a big reason why she was so upset, because it made her realize, like, oh, wow, like, my dad's really not a good dad. All right, back at Robyn's house, they decide they're going to tell the kids. Meri's like, do you want me to go ahead and tell the kids that I'm moving? Robyn was a little worried because, that's going to hurt their feelings. It's going to make them sad. And I try to protect them from getting sad. But Kody was like, listen, we need to tell them. We need to go ahead and tell them before she leaves. And Meri was like, to be honest, I would rather them hear it from me than anybody else, which is a smart idea. Because if Meri didn't get to tell the children why she was leaving and how everything went down, you don't know what Kody and Robyn would have told them kids. Oh, yeah, Meri didn't want to be a part of the family anymore, so she left. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? So, Meri tells the kids, she calls them in there, tells them that she's going to be moving to her B&B. They seem a little sad over it, but it's nothing like too much. Like, they didn't cry. They were just like, well, we wish you wouldn't. Nothing. It wasn't anything, too bad. After she told the kids, Kody hugged Meri and told her, he's like, it all seems a little sad. And Meri says, well, it is sad. Then in a confessional, he says he wants Meri to move and he thinks it will be good for Meri, but he has a bit of nostalgia when it comes to Meri. And he's a bit brokenhearted. And I'm like, what? This is wild. Have you not dreamed about the day that she would leave for like 10 years, but now you're like heartbroken? Now we see Robyn in a confessional after that. And of course, Robyn makes Meri leaving the family about her. like she always does. She talks about how this isn't what she wanted. How sometimes she wants to shake everyone and, yell at them, "What the hell? This wasn't what we, set out to do. Like, this wasn't the plan." She talks about how she remembers years ago, the first few years that she was in the relationship, in the marriage with them, in the family, how Kody seemed happy when it was all of them. And they all seemed like a family and they were bonded together and everything seemed good. She says, "I remember that time. Kody was happy. I was happy. It seemed like everybody was happy. Like, how did we get so far away from that?" You, Robyn, that's one of the reasons y'all got so far away from that. She talked about how Meri has always had her back. She says when you are in a polygamous marriage, it makes all the difference in the world when the wives have your back. And she said Meri has always had her back. And she says that's not always been the case. That there were times that she definitely felt like the other wives did not have her back, and that there was this campaign against her from the other wives. That's wild. Well, yeah, wow. Now, towards the end of the episode, we jump on a side-by-side with Christine and David. And Christine tells us that they had just finished moving into their new house the day before, but David came to her and told her that it was his friend's birthday, and every year for his friend's birthday, they go riding. So he's like, we got to go riding tomorrow because my friend's birthday. It's tradition. We got to go. So she was like, okay. And basically he took her out there and proposed to her. Let me see. He gets her up on the top of this mountain. His friend asks, like, "You want me to take a picture of y'all?" They're like, "Yeah," but the friend is actually recording. David tells Christine that is his favorite place. She is his favorite person. He tells her that they have talked about getting married, and now he wants to officially ask her. Then he says, "Will you marry me?" And she says, "Yes." Christine said that she had no idea that he was going to ask that day. She's like, "I really had no idea he was going to ask that day. I knew it was coming. I just, I didn't think that it was going to happen that day." She says it was so sweet and so romantic. He then tells Christine, he's like, "I hope you're okay with, me proposing here." And then he apologized for not doing it in front of the kids. But he said he just really wanted to do it there. And he's been wanting to do it for a while. So he wanted to do it there. So he took the opportunity while they were going to be there. And he's like, "But I'm sorry, like the kids aren't here." He tells her he had this whole speech prepared. He's like, "I wrote this whole speech, but I forgot it. In the moment, I just forgot it." And Christine told him that it was perfect. That she was happy with how everything went. She told him it was perfect and that she was happy, that it was great. Christine then said in a confessional that it was the perfect day, that she feels like her life is just starting. She was like, "The day was perfect. I feel like my life is just starting and I love it." She says she loves how much David loves her. She says she's never felt like this before. She says she was not in love with Kody the way that she is with David. And she's happy and she feels like she found her soulmate. And then that was the end. Now, next week's episode seems like it's going to be pretty interesting because Meri's going to be moving. And as a part of her severance package, Kody's going to help her move. So he shows up to her house. He's helped her packing. He's helping her load everything up. They're in the kitchen. And he tells her that she is actually his favorite ex-wife. There's a lot of laughs. She's like, "Wow, it took long enough for me to be your favorite," but it's favorite ex-wife. When they're loading the truck, Meri backs it right on up on Kody. And let me tell you, I'm like, could you imagine like being with someone for so many years, but not being intimate with them and then backing your butt up on them? Kody, he laughed about it. I'm like, Sean would be like, "We're going to have to go to, excuse us, pull the truck door down." You know what I'm saying? Like, what? I like, if I was Meri, I want to say if I was Meri, I would be like, one last hoorah, but not if I was treated the way that she was treated. But it's like she was very flirtatious and like backing her butt up on him. I was like, scandalous. I think she wanted one last hoorah. Then next week's episode, David and Christine, they put together this dinner. They invite all the kids so they can make an announcement. And the two girls here, the one holding the baby and the one in the back, I think that's David's kids. Well, I know the one in the back is David's kids because I watch her on TikTok. I think this is also David's kids. But they invite all the kids. Is there a mattress in the truck? Maybe. Let me see. There's a cushion over there, I think. Gonna put some cushions down. Oh my goodness. So yeah, they have this dinner. They invite everybody over, the kids, and after they eat, they play this video on the TV. And the video is actually the proposal. They play that to the kids, and the kids are shocked. They're like, "Y'all are engaged?" And I'm like, "Y'all didn't see it coming?" And that was the end. So next time we get to see the kids find out about the engagement. Meri backing it up on Kody. Kody telling Meri that she's his favorite. And he's gonna drive her. He's gonna drive her things to Pier 1, meet her there, unload them. I imagine there may be some more. Also, when he gets her to Pier 1, he like hugs her and is like crying about the end of their marriage. And she's like, again, like, it didn't have to be this way. And I'm like, I really think if Kody would have been like, you know what, Meri, I made a huge mistake. Let's work it out. I think she would have been like, okay. It's so silly that she was surprised. You have the rings, the house, the venue, and you were shocked. I know, right? Like, girlfriend, what? It was coming. Like, what? So odd. But that was the end of the episode. I thought it was an interesting episode. At this point, we are some time out from this, like a year. And I follow them on social media, and they all really like David. Like in the photos, they're like hugging up on him. They seem very, very close to David. I'm trying to find, when did Meri move back to Pier 1? Was it 2023? I think it was 2023. January 2023. So yeah, like a year and a half. When did Christine and David get married? October 7th, 2023. That makes sense. I guess this was around, yeah, because it wasn't long after Christmas either. So, yeah. Oh, yeah, everybody keep Wildflower in your prayers. I didn't know she was going through some things. Fellow content creator, friend Wildflower, you guys pray for her. So that was this week's episode. We'll do next week's episode as well. I'm going to try to stick to Tuesday at 2 p.m. Central Time. Fingers crossed. I need to check the schedule to see if my son has a basketball game, because if he does, that really throws things off because we have to leave early. Thank you, Bree. Thank you. You guys have your thoughts in the comment section below. What are your guys' thoughts about the episode? I don't know. Meri, just like, I really feel like she would stay if she could. She would stay if she could. You guys have your thoughts. Like, share, subscribe, and join me. I did see that, Colby, and I think I might do a video about that. You guys subscribe to the channel. Follow me on my other social media platforms if you haven't yet. And I'll be back in just a little bit because I got more that we're going to talk about today. Bye, guys. Hit that thumbs up button on your way out. Bye, guys.